Fig fam, how are we? Figs and coffee. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We had a freeze. We got down to 32 last night. 33 in some spots, so we were right on that cusp, but it's supposed to get down to like 26 tonight. And I have citrus, and fortunately, I got some new Vego containers for my citrus that I need to bring in during freezing temps. I have a lot of hardy citrus, which is awesome. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have my Awari Satsuma wrapped up. I have my Meyer lemon right here, and I have an Ai-Chang lemon right here. 32 degrees, my avocado was unfazed, but we're gonna see how that does. But I'm really here to talk about my citrus grove right here, because as you can see, I only have my Brown Select and my Kimbru Satsumas out here, and everything else had to go into the garage here or to the greenhouse over there. When I'm growing lemons and limes, I think it's totally fine to have them on wheels. I'm willing to do the work to move them in and out of warm spaces. But right now, the containers they're in are not easy to move. And so actually, Vego reached out to me and wanted me to try their citrus containers on wheels. And I have the perfect location for them. And I've tried wheeled items before. I've tried to make my own wheeled containers before. And it is not easy, nor is it inexpensive. You have to invest in the good stuff. So let's check out what they got me. And I'm going to use them for my less than hardy citrus, like my lemon tree, which is a Harvey lemon, which is supposed to be hardy. I've seen it survive 25 degrees, but I really want to get an abundant amount of lemons off of it, which means doing a little bit of extra protection to get a better result. The other one is my Kefir lime, which really can't handle as nearly as cold temperatures as my other hardy citrus here. Ideally, in an ideal world, I'd like to have everything in the ground. It's really easy to manage, which is why I focused so much in these hardy varieties through Stan McKenzie and other research that I've done. So let's go check out this container, set it up. I'm going to show you how I pot these figs in them, and I'm going to show you what potty mix I use for my citrus, because it's a little different than what I use for my other fruit trees. This is less than ideal. I have to make do. And unfortunately, bringing the citrus in by hand from the patio out over this ledge is not easy, but I do have a garage. You can see my citrus that I have right here. You can see my pepper plants that I'm just not ready to let go of, that I'm probably going to overwinter because they're just too delicious. But if you see right here, I have this pygmy date palm on a wheelie platform with this heavy planter. And unfortunately, I still have to wheel this in and out when it gets into the low 20s because these pygmy date palms don't like that temperature. But this is my experience with wheels before on planters. I've tried to install my own. I've tried to do like hardy framework, but I just want it to look nice at the same time. And it's just a pain in the butt. And so I end up they're about as functional as if I were to just carry the containers around or roll the containers around anyway. So insert the Vego Garden wheeling containers. I'm really excited for this. Thanks Vego Garden for hooking me up with these. Because you know what? It's not just for citrus. It's for anything that would be temperature sensitive. If I was still up in the Northeast and growing fig trees, I'd probably have them in these because I would probably be wheeling them in and out of my garage or my shed, doing all my winter protection methods. My parents up in Pennsylvania would probably really benefit from one of these, as they have fig trees on their patio that they bring into their garage every winter. And as they're getting older, it's nice to have something that's a little more ergonomic than just carrying a giant 15-gallon container or 20-gallon container. So I am really excited for this. But we're gonna set these up on my patio out back, and I'm gonna show you my citrus mix that I use for my citrus trees that is a little different than my normal fruit tree or potting mix that I do. And it is a little more well-draining. And what's really cool about these is that these are self-watering pots. And so if you have something that requires a lot of water, especially if you're in a hot place like in the south of the United States, these will be really beneficial. But I'm excited to set this up. I'm gonna show you how functional it really is, because I think you can wheel these on grass. I think you can wheel them on the road. I think that they are quite strong and resilient as far as construction. And that is what I really need as I operate a backyard food forest and small plant nursery. So let's set these up for my temperature sensitive citrus. All right, you're looking into the sun, but I need the warmth right now because it's cold out. Oh, these planters are big, which is what I want. Big, strong planters. There's directions. I think we should look at them. All right. So these are self-watering pots. And so if you can see here, they have a max and a min level here. And it's associated with these tubes. This is what I'm looking forward to, are these wheels. See how strong they are? That's what I really, really want for my planters. Something that holds up when I'm dragging it across the grass, when I'm dragging it across my patio, something that is just reliable. So I'm really looking forward to these. All right. It's a really good size. It's like perfect. Attach the adapters to the frame. Oh yeah. This is what I care most about. It's sturdy. All right, it's a self-watering pot and it has overflow drains, which are really important. Whoa. This is cool. Tighten it all up. Now I have to put in the reservoir piece. I want it nice and tight because it's gonna settle over time and I'll have to tighten it anyway, but I don't want to like bend anything. So that's like the Goldilocks zone. So I just kind of wait until I really get snug there. All right, let's put in the self-watering aspect reservoir cap. This is what matters most to me. I'm on a patio. I know it's loud, but it needs to be able to wheel across this patio if I have citrus out here and other hardy stuff. And I'm excited to try it on the grass in case I have to wheel it across the grass. But it looks like I get to install this piece. So I'm going to put the tube right here in this opening. It has other openings. It fits in snug. It's like good engineering. So look at that. It gives me the water level and it's got a little plastic ball that floats. Just going to stick it in. It's all associated with the water level. And that's it. We did it. I'm pumped. This is great. I have one more to build. Before we build that, we're going to get the lemon tree in here because this is the exact size I need for my lemon tree. I got it. My Harvey lemon tree is going in this pot and this container is the perfect size for it. Before I put it in, we're gonna get my little apron set up to protect the patio. But see here, I wanna show you guys this. When you're growing a citrus tree, and this one is almost like too wet, which is why it's a little yellow, and it might be a little nutrient deficient based on the yellowing of the leaves. But you see this crown here, where these base roots come out? That's how a citrus tree likes to grow. It likes to have its root crown exposed, and then all the roots below it. Now I'm gonna show you my soil mix that I use for my citrus trees. So right now I have this in a grow bag, but I need to move it into something that I can actually functionally move around like this. I could almost just plop this in here. And I'm telling you right now, that is gonna be a game changer. Look at that already. I'm just already like excited to like move it around my patio, bring it into my house. So when it's really cold out, let's go ahead and get this set up for a good soil mix. Ooh. This is my potting mix for my fruit trees. And this is what I'm going to use to make it accommodate citrus trees. And that is soil conditioner. All right, I have one mixing pot here. And I have my lemon tree right over here and my new container here. But I have potting mix, which is 1 part peat or coconut coir, sometimes a little bit of both, 1 part perlite, 1 part compost, and 1 part soil conditioner. And I leave it out to capture rainfall and get its nice microbiome going. And so this stuff is really great for fruit trees, things in containers like herbs, vegetables, etc. Not necessarily for raised beds, but for container growing. And definitely my potted fig trees is what I grow most for. I also put in some organic fertilizer that has mycorrhizae in it, and it really just helps boost it. If it's for fig trees, sometimes I'll add garden lime, which is dolomitic limestone, to increase the pH to more of a neutral pH soil. Now, with citrus trees, they like a lot of drainage, and they don't necessarily need to have the same neutral pH. So I actually add soil conditioner. So I've already had 1 part of soil conditioner into this combination mix. And if you're curious, check out my video on fruit tree mix for this. But for citrus trees, I'm going to add way more soil conditioner. So I'm going to add 1 part of this potting mix split in half. So 1 part of this potting mix and 1 part of the soil conditioner. And I'm going to mix it all together. I have 1 measuring pot, and this is why I have a tarp laid out. So I can go 1 part soil conditioner, which is just fine mulch. It's fine. Sometimes it's hardwood mulch. Sometimes it's pine bark. In this instance, it's pine bark. And it'll eventually break down to organic matter as well, which can feed your plants. But it provides a lot of drainage, which is what citrus needs. I know we were just talking about my citrus tree here and its root crown, but you can see all the soil conditioner here. It's not mulch on top, it's the soil conditioner. And that helps it just drain nicely and eventually break down into organic matter. With self-watering pots, you want it to be well draining, you want to have its reservoir, and so you only need that soil to be wet and capture that moisture when it needs it. And I think the self-watering pot will be helpful for that. All right. There's my potting mix. So 1 part soil conditioner and 1 part potting mix to make your citrus blend. And what I do here, and this is why tarps are great, is I mix it all together. So I make some space. I recommend garden gloves. But you can just see how loose this material is, and it just is so great for drainage, yet has that nice ratio of organic matter that I think is wonderful, because you want that long-term health over time of your microbiome. And these are pine bark soil conditioner, which is pine bark nuggets. It's fine mulch that you can find at your garden store. And it's really just to aerate your soil. A small tarp is perfect for making soil mix, because look, now it's nicely mixed up. And I can put it in a container for my new home for my lemon tree in this Vego garden bed, which is awesome. But for reference, you can see just how loose this stuff is, but it's still rich with nice organic matter, right? Barely clumps, but you're gonna want that drainage. All right, guys, let's see what it looks like. I got my Harvey lemon here, which is relatively cold hardy, but Harvey lemon still, if you want good flowers and fruits, it actually didn't even flower and fruit that much this year because I left it outside in a 25-degree night and I lost all the flowers, even though the tree survived okay. So I didn't get any fruit. But let's take it out of its container. And what I like to do when you're taking stuff out of their containers is all the excess, I still want to save because it has all the bacteria, mycorrhizae, fungus that can be transferred healthily into their new homes. Mix it in with the existing soil because all this rich new potting mix that I'm putting in here is going to feed the microbiome, and that is going to make those nutrients bioavailable for the tree itself. You can see just how dry and well draining it is. And that's perfect, perfect for citrus trees. All right. All right, I made more of a mess than I wanted to, but you know what? That's why we have leaf blowers. And look at that, look at that. Waiting a long time to pull the trigger on getting one of these. I'm actually gonna put some more together here. That looks fantastic. That's so easy. All right, let's clean up a little bit. Big fam, I wanted to show you guys after a lunch break and a cleanup session how great this came out. This tree is happy. It can grow for years in this container. It's self-watering, and when I'm ready to fill up the reservoir, I simply fill it up in here until I get to the max mark, and it'll bottom water for the tree so it doesn't get any root rot on top, which is fantastic because that's something really important to citrus trees. It looks great. I don't know if you can tell how easily it moves across my bumpy patio, but it is a game changer, especially where I was using that pot before. I had to lug it around, and any other plastic pots are susceptible to breaking down. Now here's the trick. I have one more of these that I'm probably going to put out front, but I want to show you something that's really important to me because when it gets really cold, I'm going to have to move my citrus and my other tropicals into either my greenhouse or my garage. And to get it from my patio to my garage, I either have to get a ramp and take it up the garage door, or I have to wheel it on the grass into the front. And this is a good test for these. All summer long, my Harvey lemon goes right here next to my Coratina olive tree. But now when it freezes, it needs to go inside. And before I had to drag it across the grass. But it wheels so beautifully here. Right across the grass. I have pretty sandy soil and it is relatively firm, but that is a game changer from trying to drag it or have to lift it into a wheelbarrow to actually move it. All right. My old wheeling platform for my containers, my new container with wheels on it. Thank you, Vego Garden. I'm really excited about this. I can easily move it into my garage. Guys, if this was helpful for you on how to repot your citrus trees, how to manage citrus in a colder climate, I would suggest take a look at these Vego wheeling planters. If you live in a northern climate, I highly suggest them for figs as well if you store them in the garage. The garage is an easy place for me to wheel my tropicals or my subtropicals in and out of my house that are not cold tolerant. And so for all my citrus that I really want to get fruit off of, I have about 15 to 20 freezes per year, and we can get down into the high teens, but typically low 20s. I need some of these planters that I can take in and out of a garage space, a shed space, or greenhouse space to manage some of the tropicals that just get on that cusp of tolerating those temperatures. Guys, if this was helpful for you, like, subscribe. If you're interested or have thought about Vego, I'm confirming that this was a really good experience. I really appreciated working with them. Reach out with questions, guys. I'm here to help you grow fig trees. I'm here to help you grow fruit trees. I'm here to help you garden. Cheers, fig fam.